Not only is it fascinating to study how a series of duplications could result in a cluster of homeodomain genes called the Hox genes, which help embryos develop. What is fascinating about these Hox genes is that the order of the genes in the cluster mirrors how these genes are expressed in the body. So in other words, the first genes in the cluster are expressed in the head area. The middle genes of the cluster are expressed in the thorax. The final genes in the cluster are expressed in the abdomen. So the order of the genes in the cluster corresponds to the order of where these are expressed in the body. Now, humans have multiple Hox clusters, and we also use the order of these along our body's axis, in our nervous system, in our intestines, along our arms, etc. So the order here is a fascinating aspect to these Hox clusters. If the genes of the head express a gene which tells the cells that they are in the thorax, this would then cause the formation of legs instead of antennae. The cells are relying on these Hox proteins to be told who they are, where they are in the embryonic body, and what proteins should they make. And a mutation which expresses the wrong Hox gene in a part of the body will confuse the cells, and they will act inappropriately, producing structures which belong elsewhere in the body, as in the antennapedia mutation of flies. Another mutation in Hox genes causes the cells of the thorax, which would develop a haltere, a balancing structure, instead make a wing. Now, while most insects have 2 pairs of wings, flies only should have 1, the second wing being modified to a balancing structure. But if the cells of this area think that they belong in the middle thorax segment instead of the hind thorax segment, they will make a wing instead of a balancing structure, producing flies with 2 pairs of wings.